I'm Mara Vincent, co-artistic director of Olympic Ballet Theater and Olympic Ballet School.
And I'm Oleg Garbulov. I'm co-artistic director of Olympic Ballet Theater and Olympic Ballet School.
And you're watching Eclectic Arts.
Okay, so we're here in Edmonds at the Olympic Ballet Theater, and I'm so excited that I get the chance to talk with the artistic directors here. So thank you very much for taking the time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so let's kind of just dive in. So being co-artistic directors of this theater, what does that entail? I know it entails a lot, but can you kind of give people the scope of what you do for your positions?
Well, I think that people should know that it's actually two separate organizations that we are directing together.
Right.
There is Olympic Ballet Theater, which is the professional performing company, and then also Olympic Ballet School, which trains children from the ages of three all the way up.
Okay, all right, and then how long has the theater, I guess, and the school been in existence?
This is our 10th
No,
year.
no, it's 9. It will be 10 next year.
In June starts our 10th year.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but it's been around, I think it's going to be our 40th.
40, yeah. So next year is the 40th anniversary of the organization. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And have all 40 years been here in Edmonds?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did both of you come to become co-artistic directors here at the company?
Back when we were still dancing with PNB, on our off weeks, we would come here and teach classes. And then
It was under leadership of Helen Wilkins. She was the previous director of the company and of the school. And then we took over in 2011
when she retired.
when she retired.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when you're looking at, I guess you could call it like a new year, a new season, what are you looking at as the artistic directors for the company? What's that? Kind of give us the behind the scenes of what you do to come up with the programs that you do and the schools that you do.
I think the word programs is the most challenging. What to present for the next season, how
to keep it fresh,
to keep it fresh, to keep the dancers excited, and to, as Mara said, to keep it fresh, to bring the audience back and to bring the new member of the audience, how to attract new audience.
So generally, we try to show one full-length classic besides the Nutcracker, and we have built Coppelia, we have Giselle, the Sleeping Beauty, and then we have smaller excerpts of ballets like
For the average show, so let's use Sleeping Beauty as an example since it's coming up. How many weeks do you prepare before you have the performances?
So we would start with the younger children, if there are any involved in the production, a bit sooner, but the company dancers about
Well, for the beauty, they will be
5
called
weeks?
for 5 weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah, for the Nutcracker, I think they
Okay.
were for 6 weeks. Their employment would be, yeah. So but as Mara said, with children it takes a little bit longer, maybe 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. It's always amazed me that for any company, not just your own company, how much work goes into it, and then there might be 3 performances or there might be 8 performances. But I'm sure that's a business thing about what will continue to make a profit based on just supply and demand and that kind of thing.
Right.
But I think some people think that as long as they can almost like put these things together in like a week, and it's like no. It's much more planning than that, and much more work, rehearsal, everything, let alone the wardrobe design and lighting design and all the other pieces have to come together.
Yeah. And in most cases, productions are not profitable. It's only the Nutcracker, which everybody knows that's the profitable production, but all the other ones, they're not.
Okay, all right. And being the co-artistic directors, what do you find, maybe it's still your passion that you had when you were dancing yourselves? Is it something that carried over to teaching and directing now? Or is it, how's that kind of shift as when you think back to, well, by way back when you were very young, when you first started training in ballet to where you are at now? How do you keep that passion going?
Well, the passion for the art is always there, and sometimes there will be rough days, but then it's one day that brings that passion back, And
I think, sorry if I'm speaking for you, but I think Oleg enjoys putting the productions together. I love working closely one by one with the dancers, kids, adults, and then Oleg likes all the elements from the lighting.
I like to put it together, everything, lights and sets and dancers and pantomimes and
the big scenes,
put the tape on the Marley, everything.
Everything about production.
I enjoy that, I enjoy that, when we were dancers, we weren't really thinking about that. We weren't thinking about directing anything because we were just dancing. We were focused on how to improve our technique and
performance.
Sure.
This is a broader perspective. Definitely.
So it sounds like you guys are really a good match then, if you're really into the whole production part of it and you're really liking to work with the dancers on all levels, that you kind of cover all the bases then between the two of you.
Luckily,
it was kind of organically happened like that, and we just kind of, I'll just do this, and okay, I'll do that, and we never really had any discussion. No, this has to be done like that. It was. So we kind of, I guess we're lucky in that sense.
Okay, and if we can kind of speak a little bit about your careers personally, when you think back again over all those years of dancing. What are some of the things that really stand out as highlights for each of you?
Oh gosh, there's so many great ballets and great opportunities.
I think it's like the highlights were working with different stages with basically a legends of ballet.
Legends,
like I was working with Eldar Aliyev, Irina Kolpakova, Ken Stoll and Francie Russell, Ronald Hines.
And then these new young contemporary choreographers as well. Like Ed Lee. Too many roles to choose a favorite.
It's hard to choose the favorite role. And I think it's also been a while, so I kind of forgot how it feels as a dancer. I now already remember who I was working with.
Right, I think it's not just the role that you're given that shapes your feeling about it, but it's the process. Your rapport with whoever's rehearsing you, your coach, and from where you start to how you shape your character until the performances are even over. So it's not just I got this part, and but it's the process, the work in it.
Okay. And one thing I've always kind of wondered, just kind of in general, is as dancers, obviously you just mentioned you're working on always bettering your dancing technique and everything else that you do and the people that you work with. Where does the I guess quote unquote acting part come in? Because as I've been studying and reviewing more and more ballet, you can definitely tell when some dancers have really kind of thrown themselves into a part as an actor beyond the dance part, and then some that are still struggling with it, where they might be amazing dancers, but that acting part where they're trying to play a certain role, they just haven't quite grasped yet. Is that something that's taught in the schools, or how's that work?
It generally develops within the rehearsal process, right, of the role. Even some young children they're naturally gifted with being very expressive, where others maybe are more guarded or more technicians.
We do offer at the Olympic Ballet School, we do offer classes, pantomime classes.
Oh,
And so it's acting without saying any words.
And it's really an art within itself.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to communicate, the
communicate
story
using
without
your,
words.
using your
Yeah.
eyes, using your arms, making gestures. And as Mara said, some they just naturally feel it.
It's
And
body
some,
language, it's facial expression,
Yeah.
musicality.
yeah. For me, I struggled for a long time with acting. I feel like I thought I felt it, but it was probably close to 30s when somebody basically just coached me. It was Elder Alif who coached me how to act on stage. He would be like, no, like stop, no, that's not good, no, do it like that, And so, and then it's somehow started
Once
feeling.
you break that
You
ice,
gotta break that ice. Yeah.
then somehow you're less inhibited to put yourself out there and just go for it.
okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Again, I have a chance to talk and interview for a lot of actors, and some of them talk about that they have complete stage fright before they get in front of any audience. You know, they may have been doing it for 25 years, and said, I still have those butterflies, Mark.
Well, that's for live performance.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
the nerves.
Yeah.
But I think the willingness to try in rehearsal, I think it's easier, obviously, the more you've done.
Right.
And after that initial,
You need
your
somebody.
nerves have
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. Like you need someone to kind of push you and force you to do it. Just force you to do it. If you don't feel it, I mean, we all have emotions, right? We all have emotions. Just need to learn how to
convey that.
get those emotions out. You have to train yourself how to get those emotions out, and then if you have a coach
To not be embarrassed.
who can help,
you know,
who not to be
sometimes
embarrassed,
the
yeah.
kids-
Oh, and not to be embarrassed,
Yeah.
yeah, because people usually just read and that's it. I was the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sure we all were.
Okay. Can you speak a little bit about the school part in terms of, so if there's a parent or a young person watching this video right now, what would the Olympic Ballet School offer?
So we have classes, like I mentioned before, from ages 3 and up, and after they're about in first grade or so, we ask them to come in for an evaluation. So we see where they fit within our classical ballet division. Up until that point, it's open enrollment, and it's just teaching young children really the joy of movement and getting to know their bodies with music and in a classroom setting, listening to the teacher instructions, all of that. And then about from first grade and up, it becomes more disciplined, more regimented. There's introduction to bar work, terminology, and that's really where the foundation of classical ballet begins.
Okay. And is there is there a ceiling? Like, where do students go when they hit a certain part? Are they trying to get on with companies around the country, around the world, or what's kind of that ceiling part?
We have Olympic Ballet School alumni dancing in companies both in the U.S. and also abroad in Europe.
Enrique. And some alumni continue their training with OBT as a trainee. So after they graduate from a high school, after they graduate from Olympic Ballet School,
And they have the hardest schedules
Yeah, they
because in
do.
the mornings they're taking class and working with the company, all the rehearsals. Then they have a lunch break, and then they come back in the afternoons and do all the classes with the school. So it's all day.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I assume some of your students are probably also trying for in competitions and
Yes.
things of that nature as well. Can you speak to that?
We take our
Mara
kids
loves to prepare.
Well,
Prepare
there's that
to coach.
one-on-one
Yeah, she likes-
process
she likes
again, and yeah, I mean it's really blossomed. We started with a handful of kids a couple years ago. Not even maybe two or three kids, something like this. And now
There's
there's just more
interest.
and more interest. I think the kids are getting really serious about wanting to better themselves. So we take our kids to about 2 or 3 competitions per year, per season. And luckily, 2 of them come right here to the Edmund Center for the Arts, the World Ballet Art Competition and the Youth American Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And to kind of wrap this up, we know that you have Sleeping Beauty coming up over in Everett and here in Edmonds. And what are you looking forward, like beyond the season? Can you kind of give any little tidbits, or not there yet, about what's coming up for the following year?
Beyond the season, well, we are trying to build a full production of Don Quixote. Because last summer we presented Act 1, and the audience loved it. I mean, it's such a fun, energetic, comedic ballet. Lots of bravura dancing. Music is great. So much fun to dance. So we are trying to build the production in its entirety so that we have a bigger repertoire.
So our season starts basically in July. So we open with summer performance. Usually it's the first weekend of August. Then we have fundraiser. You guys welcome to come. And then the Nutcracker, and then the spring production.
Okay.
So and all of that is, I want to go back to what Mara said before, that there's 2 different organizations, Olympic Ballet Theater and Olympic Ballet School. And so all the productions that you see on stage, that has been presented by Olympic Ballet Theater. So it's not Olympic Ballet School, it's Olympic Ballet Theater.
The school does an end of the year presentation in June.
Okay.
But all the big productions with the sets and the costumes and the professional dancers, that's presented by OBT.
Yeah. We do involve children, especially for the party scene and Nutcracker. But again, it's been presented and produced by Olympic Ballet Theater. Yeah.
Okay. And I actually thought of something else when it comes to, so for the Olympic Ballet Theater and the productions that you put on, for people like me that aren't, haven't been in the know for that long, do you hire dancers that are from other parts of the country that come and perform in certain productions, or what's that process like? Or do you have everybody that's just kind of local that you use in the productions?
They're all local. We currently employ how many? 10? No.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 3 trainees, so 10.
So 10 we have 5 trainees.
Oh yeah,
5
that's
trainees.
right.
Yeah.
Because they came.
Yeah, so it depends on the season, but it's 7 to 8 professional dancers that are being hired for the season.
For each production, it's the same dancers.
Same dancers, yeah. So they have a contract for the year. It's a small contract, but they're contracted for the whole season. Some actually moved from somewhere else to work a couple of years ago. A couple of dancers, they moved, and so now they live here in Edmonds or Seattle. But they dance for us for the OBT. And then we have also 5 trainees who are Olympic Ballet School alumni.
Graduates.
So they graduates of Olympic Ballet School, and the high school graduates as well. Yeah.
Okay, no, that's I always kind of wondered that when I saw different productions, and some of the people are like, are they here? Are they from somewhere else? And
no, not we used to hire, so to speak, guest artists, and sometimes they would be the local artists from a different ballet companies, or they would be coming from different states.
And it depends on the size of the production.
Yeah, sometimes
how
we
many
still would
dancers are
hire
needed.
a guest artist, but we would like to keep our own dancers and give them opportunity to perform and just have them around instead of always bringing guest artists for one evening or for 1 week or even less. In that case, we have more time with them to prepare, to coach them, to
pull
work with
more
them, to
out
pull
of
out
them.
of them. Yeah.
through the
Yeah.
rehearsal process.
So it's a small group of professional dancers.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. And I guess the last thing would be if you could talk to a young prospective dancer, what kind of advice would you give them?
Be patient. Be patient. Be patient. Yeah.
Yeah.
Work hard. I mean, that's very, I guess, how you say, cliche. Everybody say work hard, but just be patient, and it just takes time.
What's the saying? All good things take time.
It
I mean,
takes
I
time.
think in today's world where everything is immediate,
Immediate, yeah.
It's hard to not get frustrated if
Yeah.
results aren't here
Yeah.
tomorrow,
Yeah.
but it takes years.
Stretch, stretch your feet, get on a split, practice jumping, play with the turns, and be patient.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, and I'm looking forward to more productions and learning more about Olympic Ballet Theater and School.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark.